Hey there, Leo. Welcome to your reading for the week of December 19th. We are going to jump right in here, Leo, and we are going to see what is going on for you at this time. We're just doing like a general Celtic cross type of spread here, so that's what we're going to be doing. But you start off with the Two of Wands in your general energies. The Two of Wands is like a card of leadership and taking the lead. It can represent leaving a comfort zone, Leo. Like literally every single reading I do for you has something about kind of like taking a risk, leaving a comfort zone with the Five of Swords there. So I don't know. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's been like a weird week. You're the second to last reading that I'm doing this week, and I don't know. It's just like kind of like weird. I feel like there could be like a weird nostalgic energy, which I'm pretty sure I said to you in your last reading as well, or I don't know, or I'm just having like crazy deja vu, but I kind of feel this like weird nostalgic energy. Is it a bad thing? I would say no, not necessarily. Mercury retrograde, plus I think that maybe you're just like processing something. Sometimes I think we have to, I don't think you're stuck in the past here, but sometimes I think we have to think of the past so that we can, process something, or so that we can deal with something maybe mentally, or, whatever the case may be. But you can see here that he's standing at the top of this castle and he has the whole world in his hands. He needs to kind of like get out into the world. He needs to take control over the world. He maybe rushed to a finish line and he feels like there's nothing else for him to accomplish, but there is. He has the whole world in his hands. I feel like you need to like reach higher. And again, I feel deja vu there. I feel like I said that to you in your last reading. Your crossing energy is the strength card, you basically. So I kind of feel this energy of like maybe needing to look at those places where you feel maybe like vulnerable, or those places where you're looking for approval from other people. All that is popping into my head, and I feel like you need to kind of like, I'm not telling you what to do, of course. I always say you need to, but you can do whatever you want. I want to make that perfectly clear. You have full control over your life. Tarot can't make you do anything. But what I would say is I feel like looking at those places and maybe developing some strength, or realizing that you don't need to have those beliefs, or whatever the case may be, could be very helpful for you at this time. In the area of your thoughts, you have the Nine of Swords. I think you're mostly worried about the future here, Leo. I would definitely be careful of the news, because I feel like if you watch the news, it's going to make you worry about the future. I actually don't feel that bad about this. To me, the Nine of Swords is the worst card in the tarot. But, for you, intuitively, I don't feel like this is like a huge issue. I don't think, I think it's something that you should that you could like easily heal or fix or whatever. But it's not like popping into my head as like this big, huge, dramatic issue that's going on for you. I just think that there are just some thoughts that you're having about the future. And, you have the Ten of Cups here, so maybe you have a family to take care of, or maybe you have a partner, or whatever the case may be. I feel like you are just kind of thinking like, I want to be able to take care of this person, or I want to be able to take care of my family, or even just yourself, right? And so you could be thinking about that. The thing is that in your foundation, you have the Six of Pentacles, which is kind of the solution here. Six of Pentacles asks us to plant seeds, number one, and also asks us to plant seeds in the direction of growth. It's like he is picking and choosing who to give these pentacles to, between these two people. But he also has that balance out in front of him, and the scale, and he's basically saying, he only invests in situations that return energy to him. So he's making sure to invest energy into things that give energy back, or that grow. And he's really focusing on what works in life. And I'm pretty sure that this is almost the same reading that I did for you in the middle of the month, if I'm not mistaken. There's a lot here that's like very similar. The other interesting thing is that in your past, you have the Magician, and he's literally pointing to the Six of Pentacles right here. So the Magician is the energy of what you are moving past in the past, but the Magician is about manifestation. It's also about reinvention, and I feel like you've gone through many, many changes over the past, like, many years. I feel like you've gone through some, like, awakenings, and some like deep, intense changes, right? I feel like some of you are still, there's something here about your identity. It's kind of interesting because this is kind of reminding me of the Virgo reading. If you have Virgo in your chart, I would definitely go watch that reading that I just did. It's giving me these vibes. Yours is a little bit different, so I want to stress that it's not exactly the same. I said something to Virgo about labels, and or about like how you label yourself or the things that you say about yourself, right? And so I feel yours is different in the sense that intuitively I feel this has to do with your identity. I wouldn't say this is an identity crisis, but I feel like there have been, maybe you've worn many hats over the years. This could be in work and career, and just like in how you want people to perceive you as well, right? Pretty much everything. It's a pretty deep reading here, Leo. I will say it is like I feel like there's deep personal change going on here. And what I would say is that I feel like you've been like kind of like experimenting, with that Six of Pentacles. I'm really surprised that we don't have the Nine of Wands here. We're going to clarify the whole entire spread, and we'll see. Maybe the Nine of Wands will come up, but it's kind of giving me those vibes. Nine of Wands is my card of like throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. And, I kind of get that feeling with that Six of Pentacles. In your near future, you have the Five of Pentacles. This is about being left out in the cold. I don't really feel like, some of you could be experiencing a breakup or a separation. That could be for some of you. I don't think it's for all of you necessarily. And the other thing I would say is that the Five of Pentacles says, do not call attention to your weaknesses. I feel like I always say that to you, Leo, and I feel there's like a very strong need for you to like make sure that you focus on your strengths. You could be looking at some things that make you feel inadequate, and you could be wanting to strengthen those things. And of course, I'm not suggesting that if there's something that you can strengthen that you don't do it, but they're just like some things that we cannot change, right? It's like I'm 5'5", believe it or not. People always ask me how tall I am, right? I'm 5'5", and it's like I can't change it, right? There's nothing I can do. I could get leg lengthening surgery, but would it really change anything? Hell no. It wouldn't change a goddamn thing. So there's like some things we just cannot change, right? So I focus on other stuff, right? My charming good looks, my personality, right? All that other stuff, that's what I focus on. So I feel like that's what you need to focus on, is something else, something different, right? That you can control. The other thing that I'm getting here, Leo, I'm getting a lot on this Five of Pentacles for you. I feel like you need to focus on, it's like I feel there are certain things that you need to focus on as far as leadership is concerned. Like, if you're, especially if you have a business or a career, if there are things that you truly like don't want to do, and I actually feel this in like all areas of your life. This could even be in relationships as well. It's like maybe you're the type of person who just like kind of says yes to things. I'm not calling you a yes person, but kind of, right? And I feel like this is saying like, no, you need to make sure that you're doing things that you want to do, in love, business, and otherwise. Over the next few months, you have the Justice card. I really like this. I think things are balancing out for you. Six of Pentacles, Justice. And this, to me, is definitely an improvement, going like this to the Justice card. So I feel like you are just balancing your life out in general. I also feel like you're in a much more neutral position. He has these gray pillars right by him here. And the gray in the tarot on the pillars, it represents neutral energy. The Justice card, he doesn't, assume one way or the other in anything. He takes all information in about every single situation in his life and then makes a decision from a neutral place, right? He doesn't have any biases. And I feel for some of you that you're very much in this like neutral place. I don't know, it's popping into my head where maybe you're just kind of allowing evidence to come to you, let's put it that way, like in love, business, or otherwise. And I feel like you're saying like, okay, it's like you're weighing the options, you're weighing things up, and you're saying, okay, this makes sense, this doesn't. And I feel like you're making your decisions in the future from a very good place. Next, in the area of your closest relationships, you have the Fool card. Some of you could be taking a leap of faith in love. So if you want love, I would say shoot your shot, right? Especially if you have your eye on a person, I would say go for it, Leo. This looks pretty good to me. He's got this little dog here, and that dog represents companionship. So I feel for some of you that you could be attracting like a very solid companion. The other thing that's popping into my head is I feel like some of you could be attracting like a secret millionaire or something like that. I'm not saying they're a millionaire, but they could be secretly like much more successful than you realize. And I'm pretty sure I said this to you like months ago. I was getting something about like an onion person. I call them onion people, right? An onion person is someone where it's probably a terrible analogy, but it's like they have many layers, and it's like you don't discover it right away. So I feel like this person, or you could be attracting a person, or you could already be interested in a person who, like, I feel like there's more to their story, but not like they're like a liar. Sometimes I think I say this and people are like, oh, this person hides things. No, I just think they have many different layers. I feel like there's a lot to, kind of expose. The other thing is that I would say is if this person's like secretly a millionaire or something, it's like one of those things. I think it's like they're not a show off. They prove things with their actions. Like they're like the definition of that type of energy. So that's what I get here. I would also say with the Fool here, you definitely need more fun in your life. Any social opportunities, anything you can do to socialize would be a really good idea for you here. Next, in the area of your future feelings, you have the Ten of Cups. So happy home, happy family. This is a card of fortune after difficulty. Definitely feeling really good. So I feel there's like a lot of happiness and just like a lot of good stuff coming up for you with this Ten of Cups energy. It's pretty much all I get there. And for your outcome, you have the Five of Swords. I do feel that some of you could be just walking away from things, especially things that no longer serve you. I don't really feel that bad about this. Again, part of me feels like this is a risk. You have the Fool here, and you keep getting these cards of taking a risk with me. And so this is not like, again, I want to stress that this is not like you taking a risk that is going to put you in danger or something like that. People always like leave me comments or like, how dare you tell me to take a risk? I'm like, oh, okay, bubble boy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, don't do anything then. Go live in a bunker somewhere in a bubble. Then maybe you won't ever need to take a risk, right? But it's not that type of risk. I think that this is the risk to, make a big change in your business, make a big change in your career, the risk to, get married, 10 of Cups, or, something like that. But I also feel that some of you could be walking away from something here, and we're gonna clarify right now, and we're gonna see like what this is. So let's see. With the Two of Wands in the Strength card, you have the Judgment card. You could again. I'm pretty sure you always get the Judgment card with me too. Normally on the Judgment card, there are people rising out of coffins. And inside the coffin, they're still inside the coffin. Inside the coffin is your past life. Outside the coffin is your brand new, fresh opportunity, your new life. And so I feel like there are new opportunities for you here, but you're going to have to leave a comfort zone basically to get those new opportunities. You're being called to do this. With the Nine of Swords, you have the Two of Wands. Things have been the same for too long for you, Leo, is what I would say. I mean, every single reading I do for you is about leaving a comfort zone. Two of Wands is literally a card of leaving a comfort zone. He's standing at the top of a castle where he has lived forever, or maybe for who knows how long. And he's looking off into the distance, and he's got the whole world in his hands. It's like he could easily leave his castle and go out into the world, and he could experience new things. So I feel like, variety is a spice of life, Leo, and I would be trying new stuff. With the Six of Pentacles, you have the Empress. Definitely a lot of abundance coming in for you. I feel like you need to, I just said this to someone else as well. For whatever reason, I feel like there could be, again, like a little bit of a dip in confidence this week or something. I don't know. And I feel like you need to look at all the things you've created on your own. And you're not doing this to be like, oh, I did this on my own. I feel like you need to do this to give yourself more confidence, to be like, look what I've done on my own. I can do more. What can I do when I add people to the mix? What can I do when I team up with other people or co-create with other people? So I feel like there's a lot of abundance coming in for you. With the Magician, you have the High Priestess. Definitely time to trust your intuition. I feel also mysteries. I feel that you could be curious. They say curiosity killed the cat, but I don't think that's true. I feel like, some of you need to kind of like go do some research on some things that you're interested in and, kind of like study things that you're interested in. And this is mostly, I feel, in regards to work or finance. So, I would do your research. With the Five of Pentacles, you have the Two of Swords. I mean, I don't know. I'm just repeating myself at this point. Two of Swords, she has the new island behind her. She needs to leave a comfort zone. Same thing. So it's time. It's time for you to go to a new island, right? I mean, you can't make this stuff up either. There's an anchor right here on this Five of Pentacles that Two of Swords is clarifying. There's an anchor between these pentacles there. And so I really feel like you need to like set yourself free and go on a new adventure here, Leo. Start something new. Do something different. With the Justice card, you have the Nine of Cups. Definitely wishes and wish fulfillment coming in for you in the future. I feel like you're feeling very fulfilled in the future for sure. And it's going to be through, I would like encourage you to look at maybe some fears or, again, wherever you don't feel confident. And I would try to build confidence in those areas of your life. That's going to lead to the biggest change, I feel, with this Nine of Cups. But mostly I feel fulfillment there. With the Fool, you have the Knight of Pentacles. Definitely love coming in for you. Could be an earth sign for some of you. And so if you want love, could be an earth sign. If you don't want love, I feel that this is saying you need to socialize. Knight of Pentacles is being too cautious, taking your time, not making any moves. So I do feel like you need to get moving. Although I do feel this energy of accomplishment on this Knight of Pentacles. So, sometimes I do feel like the Knight of Pentacles can represent an accomplishment or, reaching a certain like milestone in your life. And I definitely do feel that energy here for some of you. So I like it. With the Ten of Cups, you have the Knight of Wands. So I feel like this is you. I feel you need to explore more things that lead to your own happiness and fulfillment. Remember what I was saying earlier in the reading. I feel this energy of like really needing to make sure that you're doing things that you want to do and not just saying yes to everything, right? I don't know why that's so important this week, but I feel like it is. I feel like it's super important this week for you to make sure that you are doing things that you want to do. And that doesn't mean that, of course, that you can't make some sacrifices for like family and stuff like that. We all have to do things we don't want to do. But I just think that, especially in business, it's like I get this feeling of like maybe a person coming to you and being like, oh, let's do this. And maybe you don't really want to do it. And I feel like that would be a mistake. I also feel like you need to be like not afraid to like really take back the reins, like take back control, like especially for those of you that have a business. I would say here that I feel this need to like really kind of make sure things are being dialed in, make sure things are kind of like people are doing what they say they're doing and stuff like that. I don't really see you becoming like a hard ass if you own a business, but I do see you kind of just like making sure things are getting done. Let's put it that way. I also feel this in relationships as well, that you could be kind of like putting your foot down, not like in a weird way again, but just making sure that you're getting what you want in a relationship. And if you're not, then you'll probably leave. With the Five of Swords, you have the Moon. So the Moon is about going through a period of darkness, or it can also represent kind of needing to stay on your path. And that's kind of what I feel for you. Can we just get more clarity on the Moon? I'm actually going to pull 3 cards for your outcome because I want more clarity on the Moon card there. You have the King of Wands, pretty good. See, the Moon, there are always some mountains in the background. There's a path that runs straight down the middle. And I always say you have to go to those mountains. They represent achievements. It represents kind of like follow through and seeing something through to the end, not getting off your path. If you have a business career, a job, some sort of goal that you're working towards, it might be a good time for you to remind yourself like why you're doing it in the first place. If you don't have a reason, maybe you need to come up with a reason or a why as to why you want to do something, because I do feel like you're kind of like waking up to a purpose here, and you have the Sun. So definitely a lot of happiness coming in for you. I feel like there's a lot of opportunities for you to kind of like increase your happiness. And again, that is your energy. So really nice. And you have the Justice card as well. So I really feel this week you need to focus on your own fulfillment here, Leo. I feel like you need to focus on your own happiness and, the things that you want to do. It's kind of like a simple reading in a lot of ways. And again, I also feel that some of you, it's like there could be this, like a strong need for you to kind of, I wouldn't say label yourself, but for you to kind of like look at all the different versions of yourself that you've gone through over the years. And I feel like it's adding up to something, like in a good way. This is definitely good. Next, you have this Younger Woman card. It says dealings with relationships with a younger woman. Some of you definitely could be dealing with a woman. I always clarify these cards with another card, the People cards. And you have this broom. It says new home, new attitude. So some of you could be moving with a person. And again, if you're not dealing with a younger woman, it could be a man, whatever. I don't attach gender in these general readings. But I do get something here about like moving in with someone or, buying a house with someone or something like that. So that could definitely be the case here. I would also say that some of you, I feel, could just be moving. And the younger woman might not actually be a woman or a person. It might just be a new experience that is happening for you. I'm going to actually pull another card because these 2 cards came out and they're very similar. You have this Rat card. It says someone working against you behind your back. And you have this Frying Pan that says trouble, accusations. For some of you who have a business, I would definitely be careful of past employees, or, maybe you've already had an issue with a past employee. It is popping into my head. I would just ignore it. Again, Mars retrograde. I always tell people it's like if there's accusations, any of those things, it always gets proven wrong, or you always get proven right after the retrograde. So I just ignore it. But it's something I would think about, like if you have a past person, again, I always tell people, I think right now, especially with everything going on, I think it's much, much better to, unless you really have to, I think it's much, much better to ignore situations of like people talking behind your back or being a rat or whatever. Next, you have this Heart card. It says love, deep affection, and caring. So I do feel there is a very strong caring energy around you. And, if you don't have love, like I said, I feel like there could be a new person. I feel like this person just doesn't, they're they're an onion person. And I mean that in the best way possible. So, definitely good. Next, you have this Gong card. It says an exciting event. I do feel like there's a lot more excitement coming in for you. 10 of Cups, there's some sort of fulfillment. Remember, we were talking about fulfillment with the Justice card and the 9 of Cups as well. Well, first with the Justice card, and then, the 9 of Cups on top of that. really tells me that there are very fulfilling things that are going to be happening for you. You also have this kangaroo card. It says unsettled times, need to plan ahead. I don't really feel there's unsettled times. I feel like you have been unsettled, Leo. I think you've been, not calling you out here, but I feel like you've been maybe a little bit more feeling more up and down. I think everybody feels it, but maybe you've been feeling on a much, kind of like in a different way. It's like, this, I get this certain sense of just like the future, like I said at the beginning of the reading, where it's almost as if you know the future, or, maybe you can see the future and maybe you're trying to get people in your life to see things the way you do and all this other stuff. And, do I really have as someone who can also see the future, do I really have any good advice for you? No. Really, I would say Six of Pentacles. Well, I do have good advice for you. Six of Pentacles. Invest in the things that you know you can change. Invest in the things that you know you can create and work on. Invest in the things that you know create abundance for you. And I feel like if there's too much future worrying here, that's where you're going to get into trouble this week. It's actually not a bad reading. I think in some ways there's some heaviness here, but I think it has to do with your thoughts, So I would control your thoughts. And again, I would invest in things that invest back in you. It's just that simple, Leo.